Hi, folks. Welcome to Business Spotlight. Today's guest is a strategic advisor with more than 20 years experience in the construction industry. She's the founder of Carus Advisory Services. She's also the co-founder of Perspectives Limited, a PR, comms and marketing agency. She serves as a non-exec director for the Milton Keynes University Hospital Foundation Trust. She's also a trustee of the MK Community Foundation and Worktree, and she's the current chair of the Milton Keynes Ethic Business Community. My guest today is the absolutely fabulous Precious Zumbika-Lwanga. Look, let's dive straight in, Precious. Tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us how you got started in business. I know the backstories are really interesting.
My journey starts probably about 22 years ago. So I've been working in the construction industry for about 22 years. But the journey starts a little earlier than that. I was born in Zimbabwe, so proud British Zimbabwean as I identify myself today. And I went to university in Cape Town. So I studied quantity surveying, and very interesting degree. Not a lot of women would do it. And I'm relocated to the United Kingdom in 2001. And I've been working in this country for about 22 years. And really, my career spanned, like you said, women in construction. I've worked in construction for about 22 years. And it's been an interesting ride. Highs, lows, challenges, motivations, everything.
Tell me, what are the biggest challenges that you've faced since you started out, and how have you overcome those challenges, Precious?
So for me, I think the biggest challenge was moving to a completely different country very early on in my career. Did it stop me? No, it didn't. I think a lot of challenges for me don't necessarily stop me. I'm one of those people that I think, I rise to the challenge, and I can confidently say that having worked for 22 years, of moving to a different country, engaging in the workplace as a fresh-faced graduate, just that was a challenge. And then as I transitioned in my career, it was really around, how to pivot around different roles, how to pivot around different organizations. And they may seem like challenges, but actually what I found there were growth phases. Anything that I see as a challenge, I call it as a growth phase. So what were my outtakes in the change from moving from a graduate to a professional chartered surveyor to a leader, a manager, and now to a business owner? There have been a number of, growth phases that have happened in that phase. And I think the biggest one for me to date is actually stepping out of the world of work as an employee and actually setting up my own business. It has been a challenge, but I look at it as a growth, as a growth stage.
I love it that you call it a growth phase. We did an interview. We had a guest, Stephen Bartlett, from the Fame of Diary of a CEO podcast.
Yes.
Right? Huge audience, and we had him as a guest at our conference recently, and he was talking, and you called it a growth phase. He just said, look, learning to fail quickly, and the faster you fail, the faster you learn to make mistakes, the quicker you grow. What are your thoughts about that?
I think a lot of people frown on mistakes. I think I talk to people all the time, especially people that I mentor, and I say, if you make a mistake, the only way is up, because you tend to not make it again. So if you can accept that, as human beings, we can make mistakes, and mistakes are actually probably a chink in the chain that you can, fix as you go along. That's how I look at it. I think anybody that can put their hand up and say, I don't actually know what I'm doing, and I do that quite a lot, I end up learning quite a lot more out of that, that vulnerability piece that comes out of that.
You've joined together a bunch of growth phases, right? So how has your business journey evolved over time? What were the key landmarks along the way?
So when I think about business, people think business, it's more around when you own your own business. I think when you're in your working career, you're still a business. I still call myself a businesswoman, because I was delivering a service, I was engaging with clients, I was trying to win work. It's evolved in the sense that now the buck stops with me. I'm now a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a founder. And the change now is I don't necessarily have one person on either side of me. It stops with me. So now it's more about self-motivating rather than feeding off the energies of team members. So it's a really interesting phase. But what it's done for me now is made me realize just the breadth of knowledge that I've gained over the 22 years, and now really how to, use it to the best of my ability to deliver a service excellence.
You mentioned motivation. How does Precious stay motivated and inspired to keep growing personally, to keep growing in all the different roles? You're a very busy woman. How do you stay motivated? How do you stay inspired?
I think it's having the right people around you. I think I don't want to let my age out of the bag, but I think the older you become, you start to realize the people that feed good energy into you. You can self-motivate up to a point, but I think having almost like a tribe of people around you that, you can almost like feed off their energy, or you can work in a manner that, it's quite, cultivates that energy that you just keep going. I've been fortunate enough to have people that around me that are like that, and it's either family or friends, and the circle's quite small, but it's a very, very enriching space where, you when you're having those low moments, you can reach out to them and be motivated. Another thing that I do, not a lot of people know this, people that are close to me do know, I train quite a bit. I love the gym. So having that headspace where you can go and do a kettlebell session or whatever it is and do weightlifting, you know what I mean? It just gives you that lease of energy that, you can then use either in work or in your personal space or whatever it is.
You mentioned low points. Let's talk about the biggest successes, though. So you've had a bunch of growth, and you've had some successes along the way. What were your biggest successes? I know you've got an MBA from Lancaster, which is absolutely fantastic. What have been your biggest successes, and how did you achieve them?
This is going to sound cliche. My children. I've got 2 children, and I think having the children was probably one of the biggest successes. I mean, we can talk about business, we can talk about professional life. Being chartered as well was a massive success for me, because it just gave me that credibility to know that in everything that I say and do now, I am speaking in professional capacity. So being chartered, but equally as well, you mentioned the MBA. I think for me, it's a proud moment. I was working full time. I was a mom. I'm still a mom, and I was juggling quite a lot. So for me, that was my own personal success. I went out to do it. I succeeded in doing it, and now I lean on it quite a lot. It's a beautiful reference point. When I'm delivering to my clients, that I do have that not in the back pocket, in the forefront of what I'm doing. Draw upon that MBA.
Actually, when a lot of people do an MBA, they go very, very wide and very shallow. But we were talking off camera earlier, and we both discovered that we went very, very narrow and deep into strategy and developing strategy, right? Do you get to use your MBA every day?
All the time. And it's actually been really, really instrumental and actually quite influential in the services that I provide within my business. Like yourself, we focused on strategy as a major, and having a technical background, that might not have been the case, tapping into strategy, if I hadn't done my MBA. So now in Carus Advisory, providing construction advisory is the technical element. But then there's another pillar, which is business consulting, where I draw from that, that strategy piece that I had. And if I hadn't pursued the MBA, I probably wouldn't be able to actually join the dots and look at either a problem or an organization in a holistic manner. So really grateful to that.
I don't know about you. I find, having done the MBA, it allows you to kind of look at a business and kind of get a perspective of where it's at very, very quickly. Would you agree with that? Is that the kind of thing that how you use your MBA?
I think it gives you a different lens. Before it was quite superficial, but now having the tools and the knowledge, you can do a deep dive. If somebody said to me, "Do you do strategy within your own business?" Probably not. The doctor does not heal themselves. I should do a lot more in my own business. But back to your point, absolutely. I think it allows me then to have almost like a deeper appreciation of some of the challenges that organizations face, and look at it with the strategic eye in terms of where can they improve, where can they make those quick small fixes to actually get those gains in the long term. So it's really, really useful in my day job at the moment.
Something that I hear most commonly from business owners is, "Mark, I don't have enough time." How on earth do you balance the demands of running a successful business, doing all of your additional extracurricular stuff with the volunteering and the non-exec stuff? and all of your personal life and all the other responsibilities as well? How on earth do you juggle all of that?
One of the struggles that I had, and I'll say this openly, was prioritizing. And I think now when running a business and having a family and I'll refer back to the Ember. I think when you have limited amount of time to actually deliver work, normal work output, as well as studying, I think there was a little bit of discipline that came into that space. And I've carried that discipline across. I might not win all the time in terms of time management, but what I tend to do is I do a lot of lists. If anybody saw my notebook, they'd see lists or drawings or some creative stuff going on in the background. But I try and allocate time and still keep time for myself. So it's really around, trying to schedule as much as you can. And actually, do you know what? A really, really good tool that has come in handy, and I should have done this a long time ago, Calendly. Calendly is brilliant because I can block out the time that I need for myself. And then if I've got clients or I want to engage with anybody else outside of my business, then I can plug that in. So Calendly has been a godsend for me.
It's been really clear about the things that are going to make the biggest difference in your life and then allocating time to do those things. Tell me, Precious, I'm really interested to know, what advice would you give to either your 18-year-old self or to younger entrepreneurs who are just starting out?
So for me, my younger 18-year-old would have been a little bit more active listening earlier on. It's a skill and a tool that I've learned as I've progressed in my career. But I think if I'd had a little bit more active listening earlier on, that would have probably been really, really beneficial. The second bit is, and I talk about this openly, is finding your voice. And working in the industry that I've worked in, which is very, very, very male dominated, you can lose your voice. And there was a time where I didn't think I was amplifying my voice enough, even for things or areas that I believed in. And I did find it very loudly about 2011, having worked, that was probably nearly 10 years into my career. And I think also came with the fact that I had a little bit more confidence. I was now in middle management and etc. My 18-year-old self, I'll probably say, try not to lose your voice in the process. But the upside is I did find my voice, and I use it quite openly and to advocate for others and advocate for myself.
Let's think a little bit about the future. What are the future plans? What are the goals for the business? How do you see the whole thing continuing to grow and evolve in the years ahead?
So my business is 2 years old, so I'm still early stage, but I have ambition. And when I set up this business, one of the things that I really, really, really focus on is knowledge. Everybody's probably heard this statement. I say knowledge is power. And I have an ambition to actually set up a training platform for my clients and for anybody that is wanting to enter the world of construction and property, so that they have that knowledge to make those informed decisions. So my future plans really are about how do I continuously support clients, be it developers, construction clients, or even anybody that's just a novice that's just got interest in the industry, to have those nuggets of information that can help them make those informed decisions. So I've set up what I've called the CAS Academy. It's Carus Advisory Services Academy. And there'll be a wealth of courses and modules that are going to be launched very soon. So keep your eyes peeled. And there'll be, for, like I said, early entry or seasoned professionals that may just want to top up of knowledge and information.
Fantastic. I interviewed Jumar Johnson, who's the Chief of Staff at the Open University recently. And we were talking about lifelong learning. And I said, Jumar, that's a great phrase. If you're not learning, you're going backwards. She said, Mark, if you're not learning, you're dying.
Yes.
and you clearly embrace that, and you want to help other people to learn, right, and go forwards.
Constantly learning is important to me. I deliver leadership courses as well, the leadership modules via Cranfield University. So constantly learning is something that is very, very dear to me. And I'd encourage anybody, read something new, if anything, every single week. Get a book, read a book, or publications, or whatever it is, just something to add to your knowledge.
Fantastic, Precious. It's been absolutely brilliant to interview you. Thank you so much for coming on to be my guest today.
Thank you, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Folks, if you'd like to come on to Business Spotlight and be a guest just like Precious has done, then we'd love to hear from you. Just click or type apply below, and we'll schedule a call with you and do an interview with you, and we'll get the news out about your journey and your business. We can't wait to meet you. Until next time, thank you so much for joining. Bye for now.